Welcome back to the Mr. Homeboy podcast. I got my beautiful wife here, Miss Selena.
Hello.
And right now we're going to be dropping gems on how you can achieve your goals. So, what we're going to be saying here may not apply to you. Just a little disclaimer. May not apply to you, but hopefully you can take the good of what we're saying and what you feel like is relevant to your situation, apply it to your life, and hopefully you see the change. So, let's start off. Um, with achieving a goal, first thing you have to do is figure out what you want. What do you want? So, any type of
Um,
example you may have?
an example?
Yeah, of somebody want to achieve a goal, like a goal that somebody will want to achieve.
Okay, so with money, if you want, um, like a certain amount of money in your account, or if you're trying to do something and you need that certain amount,
Yeah,
what steps you should take to get there.
exactly.
Especially people that have different situations. Everyone works at different jobs. um, Everyone has different bills, expenses.
Hmm.
So it just depends.
Okay, how about we use a situation like, let's say a person wants to get to $10,000. Let's go with that. 10,000. That sounds reasonable.
Mhm.
I feel like the first thing that person should do is self-reflect on where they're at right now,
Mhm.
which is going through budgeting their money, see
Mhm.
what their income is, what's going out, how much they save at the end of the month, and try to find a balance of what is uh, a mandatory expense, which is like mortgage, car insurance, and stuff like
So
that.
write all their bills down.
Write all their bills down and try to figure out what they do not need. Cause
Or they can also self reflect on the bad habits that they have first to work on those, because if you're not gonna get rid of you going to the strip club or you going to the mall and spending $1,000 on just a few things,
mm,
then you're not gonna work. You're not gonna like achieve that goal if you don't get rid of the bad habits. So they could first reflect on what they have to work on within themselves.
exactly. And the main thing that, especially if you, as a goal of make it saving $1,000, the main thing you want to do is limiting your expenses.
Mhm.
So that's why budgeting come in, and you can maybe you don't need that Hulu bill, or maybe you don't need that uh, Spotify account. Maybe you're just fine with just YouTube with
Mhm.
for
With the
free
ads.
with the ads.
Mhm. But that's what we do.
Yeah, YouTube with the ads or stuff like that. You just got to go through and make that decision. You just have to sit down and self reflect and have an honest reflection of where you're currently at. I feel like the next thing somebody should do is make short term and long term goals. So,
Mhm.
of course, your long term goal is to save that $10,000. But once you self reflect, you could tell how long that short term goal will actually be.
Mhm. Or you could also, like, okay, some people get paid weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get paid daily or 2 weeks. So they could go off that
Mm-hmm.
when they get paid, how much they can save, how much they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people, like, they get paid every 2 weeks. And within those 2 weeks that they're waiting for the second check, it's all gone.
Or every month.
Mhm. So, yeah, definitely look at your paycheck and see what you're able to save. Which everyone should. Well, it just depends on people's situations.
So let's say if you're able to save $100 a month, right? If you can do $100, all right, $100 and then divided by Just gotta hold on. $100 times 12.
Babe, you're not bad at math. You're great at math.
I know, but it's taking me a long time to get this.
Because it's such a low budget. That's
Yeah.
why. $100 a month, that's a low budget. But you know what? You know what I did watch? I watched this. Remember, I told you I watched this girl that she did $100 a day challenge. You hear me?
Say again?
She did $100 a day challenge. But like, of course, a lot of people can't do that. But then another girl said that I think it was $27 and some change. If you save that daily, if you save that every day, then you hit 10,000 within something. I forgot.
Hmm.
But really think about it. A lot of people spend $27 a day.
Yeah, especially on food.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Especially on food, or just buying something in the store, and it ends up being, or even Starbucks. Look at when we go to Starbucks some days. We'll get 2 drinks. That's like $15. If you add like breakfast, that's $30. Easy $30. So yeah, a lot of people spend a lot of money daily.
So I finally got the calculations, by the way, and it will take you 8 years to get to that $1,000.
8 years.
Well, $10,000. $100 a month.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Who's doing that?
I don't know. But you know, if that's the situation,
No, yeah, if that's your situation, then by all means.
it will take you 8 years to get to that $1,000.
Especially young kids, because if I would have been smart when I got my first job.
And honestly, that's the thing. Sometimes you need those little. Sometimes you need those little mess ups to actually be
Yeah.
the person you are.
Yeah, you do.
Because if you could go back and just erase it out, you probably would still.
No, if you could.
You wouldn't learn from your situations, and if you don't learn from your situation, you feel like everything you do is right.
No, yeah, but if you could go back with your knowledge and then just fast forward, then you'd have a lot of money to make.
Most definitely. Definitely buy like a couple stocks in Bitcoin. But yeah, figure out what's your long-term goal. Your long-term goal will take you 8 years to get there. Saying that it will get you 8 years to get there, you want to make short-term goals to meet that situation. So it will be somewhere around like within years, and like how much you want to make at the end of the year, how much you want to make in 6 months, how much you want to make in 3 months, how much you want to make by the end of the month, how much you want to save within the 2 weeks, or whatever the case may be. You break it down like that, and you breaking it down like that, what that's doing is helping you understand like this goal is actually realistic, and me doing this will eventually get to that goal. And when you doing that, you figure out what your actual number is. You can actually sit down and do try to cut back on your expenses, what we did the step before that.
Because you know another thing, a lot of people don't know how to shop.
No.
With a lot of things, like just food in general. A lot of people don't know how to shop.
Oh yes, another gem that I could give you. Stop buying groceries every 2 weeks or every month. Just go every single week and buy whatever you need for just that week.
And then let it finish.
Yeah, let it finish. Just buy food for the week. Let that finish, and then you go to the store like every Saturday, Sunday, whatever the case may be, and you buy groceries that day for that week. So you don't, because you buy food every 2 weeks. That by the end of that first week, everything you like is out the fridge. And what you said you're gonna make Monday got pushed to the weekend, and then when the weekend came, like I'm finna go get me something to eat. And then when next time you notice, by the time you go shopping, you have old food in there that's just rotten, and when you buy new food and put stuff in, that stuff is expired already. So now you're just wasting money. So
Yeah, we do that.
yeah, definitely a lot.
Hmm.
But yeah, look into doing it every week. I feel like that will help a lot of people.
But another thing about like short term goals, like you could write it out, but there's you could also take steps, as in like even if it's with money or anything, like you can read books on that because that's gonna
Mm-hmm.
motivate you. Because I feel like that's what helped me in a lot of things, reading books. And yeah, like just educating yourself because once you learn more about whatever you're trying to achieve, then you're gonna keep doing it.
And that's the next thing that I was going to. And then the last thing that goes with achieving a goal is having a why. And when you have that why, that will motivate you on days that you don't feel motivated. So maybe it's a day where it's like all your friends are having fun and stuff like that, and you want to go out and stuff like that. Maybe that why would be like, nah, I don't want to go because I have something I want to do.
Mhm.
And just getting inside that mindset, you first off, you are who you hang around. That is a known fact.
Yeah.
So maybe sometimes you have to change your, even though you love your friends and family, but sometimes you have to love them from a distance and get around people who's like minded and somebody who wants to either change their situation and do anything in their power to change the situation, or get around people who you aspire to be.
And then and nowadays social media has like so much of an impact on people that like even with me, like I deleted my first account because I only wanted to start following things that encouraged me. So that's
Mm-hmm.
another thing uh people could do is like start fresh or just only like follow the people who are going to motivate you
Mm-hmm.
and uh, watch things that are going to motivate you, you know.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like the more positivity that you bring onto yourself, the more that's gonna be coming out. You pretty much, instead of going about your day, be like, ah, it's just another day. You'd be
Hmm.
like, you know what? It's actually not a bad day. It's pretty good. And maybe like mindset stuff like that. And that's where reading books, hanging around different people, that right there is not really to give you a master plan, but it's to expand your mind and to have you think about different situations.
Hmm.
And you thinking using your head is the best way to actually change your situation.
Yeah, you know what? One time I did like a collage of all the things that inspired me, and then I put it on my background on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So then every morning I wake up to that. Or then one time I did a daily routine, like a
Mm-hmm.
to do list, on my phone screensaver, and I will wake up to that. So I'll just know exactly what I have to do. That could help too because we're always on our phones. So if you have a background that's gonna be like, let's just say you're doing something that like you're not supposed to be doing or spending, and then you look on your screen, and you're like, oh, and that's just a reminder.
Yeah. Especially with the to-do list, especially when you make a short term, when you're making your goals, that consists of a short-term goal.
Mhm.
Those little daily to-do lists is pretty much like a check off of what you want to get accomplished that day.
Yeah.
And then that what you doing consistently during that day throughout that week, it will help you get to that goal you want to get to the end of the week. Then from the week to the 2 weeks to the 2 weeks to the month to the year, and it goes on and on from you being consistent.
And then to make it short, because remember, like you told me, like I would make it really long, and then
Exactly.
I wouldn't achieve some of the things, and I'll be so disappointed about myself, and I'll be like, damn, I didn't finish that. And then you told me to start doing it short, and now
Exactly.
I finished everything.
Yeah, because if you overwhelm your stuff with a to do list, it's like you feel like when you don't do it, you get discouraged. When you
Mhm.
should be looking at it like glass half full type deal, where it's like, you know what, I did do this,
Yeah.
and it's not about what you do because most people like especially when you get towards a goal, most people is like they can't really say they done what you did, or they can't really say that they failed. A lot of people promote success, but the real success is when people fail, because that's when people are learning from it, and then that's how people are actually getting better.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good lesson. You feel like somebody's gonna learn off of this?
Definitely.
Most definitely.
Because I feel like we learn daily with just within ourselves. And then, with like all the books I've read, definitely have helped me.
Exactly. But yeah, that is the gems that we're giving out today. Hopefully, what we said can apply to your life, and hopefully that it can make everything better, and you can change situations, your break the family cycles, and become the best version of yourself. This is the Mr. Homeboy podcast, and we gone.